Hi everyone, Dr. Michelle Warren here, Program Chair of the Masters in Teaching and Learning with Technology, and I am really excited to get to know you and have a look at your course, see how it's going, and work with you to build it across the next 3 classes. So I'll be with you for all these next classes in the online specialization as you build out your own online course, okay? So here we are in EDU602. Now remember that in 601, you kind of got familiar with the learning management system, you built your learning outcomes, you thought about your course, you thought about the things that your students are going to be able to do when they complete your course. That's the learning outcomes, okay? So now in this class, we're going to start digging in to the granular details of your course so you can start thinking about what kind of assignments and activities you're going to build, right? So this course, EDU602, you're digging in using the backward design theory. Now this theory was developed in the early 90s, and we use it at Ashford. It's almost a professional standard now. Everybody uses backward design. So it's a really good theory for you to know and be familiar with as a course designer and as an online educator. Now, in the weeks, we still have our draft, our reflection, and our final. So you will see in each week the draft, reflection, and final, okay? Now, again, with the draft, this is brainstorming. I just want to see your ideas. I want to see how it's going. There's worksheets to help you. And then in your reflection, I'm not as concerned about specific questions. And I think 2 to 3 minutes is plenty. I don't need to see a 5-minute reflection, okay? So just work with me on this, and what I really want to see is your thinking. How's it going? How's your course going? Are you stuck on this week's assignment? Do you have any questions about it? How can I help you, right? And maybe what you feel good about. Well, you know, how's your course coming? Are you happy with it so far, okay? Those are the things I want to know about. I'm not that concerned that you answer these questions, and I definitely do not want you to script it. I want this to be just off the top of your head. If you have some bullet points you want to address, go ahead and do the bullet points. But again, I just want to see your thinking and see how you're feeling about everything, okay? That's my goal for the videos. Now, if you and I have a phone call that week, then that takes care of this assignment, the reflection activities. If you and I talk about your course, kind of talk through the week, that satisfies this requirement. So if you're really feeling stuck, let's have a phone call. That'll take care of this, and hopefully we'll have a better exchange than just this kind of you do a video, I do a video, okay? All right, back to the course. All right, let's talk about week 1, and let's talk about that backward design, okay? So it's really important that you take a look at these resources and the videos. They're really important. You need to understand the backward design theory if you're going to be a master online educator, okay? And notice that sorry about the machine in the background, so the neighbor's got a landscaper. So notice that we've got 3 steps in the backward design, right? We've got identify desired results. What is it that students will be able to do when they complete your class? Determine acceptable evidence. How are they going to show you that they can do it? What is that final assignment that shows you that they learned all your learning outcomes? Everything you wanted them to be able to achieve in those learning outcomes, they're going to show you in that final assignment, okay? Number 3, we're not going to do in this class. We're going to do the next class, and that's where you're building all the activities and assignments that get them to that final assignment where they show you all the learning outcomes, okay? So we're going to focus on 1 and 2 in this class, and you're going to build that final assignment in your class. So you and I are going to brainstorm together and think about what is the assignment that students are going to do that shows you they learned everything in your class. So it's going to be a big, meaty assignment. It's going to be, you know, a performance, a demonstration, maybe a video, maybe a, you know, go out into the community and do something, okay? So That's what you and I are going to brainstorm on in our welcome call. We're going to think about that together. So in the welcome call, we're going to do this backward design worksheet together. I'd like you to get started on it before our welcome call. Let's take a look at that backward design worksheet, okay? Let's see here, here's an empty one. Okay, so you are going to enter your topic and your target audience. Let's hear about your course. What is it? Then you're going to enter I'd like you to enter your program learning outcomes. The downloadable link worksheet does not have program learning outcomes. I'd like you to add those. And then your module 1 and module 2 learning outcomes, okay? If you can front load that into your worksheet before you and I meet, that would be really helpful, okay? All right, next. What are those results and understandings? What is it about your course that students who've mastered those skills know, and students who are just coming into your course don't know? What are those big ideas? What are those big concepts that you want them to understand about your topic, right? So, for example, if you are teaching a math class, you want them to understand that, or a geometry class, let's say, you want them to understand that geometry measures our world. We can use geometry to measure our world and to build houses and to build buildings, and that geometry helps us be accurate so that buildings don't fall down. We want them to understand that about geometry, right? That's an understanding. Now we're teaching geometry, but see, now they know why it's important to know geometry, right? So you're going to kind of start to think about and brainstorm, and I'll work with you on this. What are the key understandings in your topic area? Then you're going to say, okay, well, what are students going to do that shows me they understand this topic, right? What are they going to do? How are they going to perform? What are they going to perform for me? If it's a, if it's back to the geometry class, they'll be able to measure a building, right? They'll be able to measure a house. They'll be able to design a new building and provide the measurements to it. Those are demonstrations of that skill, okay? So we're going to work on just those two things in week 1. And then in week 2, we're going to work on some more kind of activities and assignments that you might want to have in your class that kind of combine those skills and what kind of activities. So, okay, we know that they're going to they can measure a building. All right, so maybe the assignment is, here's 5 buildings. Give me the measurements of all the buildings. That's demonstrating to you that they can measure buildings, right? So see how that backward design flows. All right, so I have another example here I'm going to share with you in the announcement. This is an example of a class for at-risk youth on how to turn their life around, how to change their life, what's involved in changing their life. So in the MLOs, we've got, they're going to make a 10, 5, and 3-year plan for reaching their life goals. They're going to value education as a stepping stone. They're going to assess the positive and negative influences in their life. These are the learning outcomes. Now, what about this in their life do they need to understand? They need to understand that you can change your life direction. You are in control of your life. They need to understand that life is affected by who you hang out with, that there are strategies you can use to redirect your life, right? And there's apps you can use, and you can have a support network, and they're going to help you with changing or turning your life around, right? These are things they have to understand, right? And then you think about, well, how are they going to show me that they understand it, right? And that they can do it. They're going to design their life goals. They're going to develop their life goals. They're going to plan steps to achieving those goals. They're going to use tools and apps to track achievement of those goals. They're going to identify accountability partners. See how this starts to, you can really, now your class is starting to come together. Now we're starting to see, okay, here's the stuff that I'm going to have to design for my students in order for them to achieve those big learning outcomes at the end, okay? So I'm looking forward to working with you on your worksheet. Again, if you can front load it with the course design, I'd like to see your PLOs, the target audience and your module learning outcomes, then that gives us a good starting point to start to think about the desired results and key understandings and the acceptable evidence and performance tasks. All right, so I think that is a good start to the class. I hope that kind of gets you warmed up to where we're going and what we're going to achieve in the class. And I'm really looking forward to meeting you guys. So we'll see you soon. Send out your availability so we can get that welcome call going ASAP, so that you can turn in your first draft. Okay? All right. Bye, everybody.